Go Jackets.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome to WreckTalk. And yesterday, November the 12th, history was made. The largest buyout in college football history was agreed on by Texas A&M. They will be parting ways with Jimbo Fisher. It is a $76.8 million buyout. We've been hearing about this Texas oil money. I guess there's some truth to it. Now he's paid, I think, $20 million up front, and then they have to pay him approximately $7 million a year for the next 9 years, something to this effect. I think most people saw this coming. I kind of felt like, yeah, they've got a lot of Texas oil money, but man, $76 million is a lot of money. They probably give him another 2 years or something. A&M had saw enough, though. There were a lot of, I think, the more justified criticism. Jimbo had his hand too much in the offense. Very archaic way of coaching offense. It seems like college football and the landscape of college football, from an X's and O's standpoint, has kind of left Jimbo by the wayside. But if you'll remember, he was hired in 2017, leaving Florida State. You know, he was really Bobby Bowden's heir apparent at Florida State. And he was the first guy to get one of these mega contracts. At the time he signed it in 2017, it was the largest contract ever given to a coach. It took $75 million, 10 years guaranteed to pull him from Florida State. That in and of itself is interesting. A lot of Florida State fans were ready to part ways with Jimbo. There was a lot of rumblings of moving on from Jimbo at the time. It seems like Florida State fans were happy to part ways with Jimbo. Now, they went through, their own turmoil afterwards before getting to Mike Norvell. We'll talk about him later. But yeah, Jimbo really jump-started this new era of mega contracts. I mean, $75 million, all guaranteed. Initially has success with Texas A&M, and Texas A&M is a school, and this is why I think Jimbo's days might kind of be done as far as being a coach in a preeminent Division I program. If you can't win at Texas A&M, where can you win? You're going to want for nothing. If you've watched the Johnny Manziel documentary on Netflix, there was a time where Texas A&M, their athletic department had raised donations, collectively like $730 million or something like that. I know it was more than $700 million. It was more than all other SEC programs combined. So money is not going to be a problem. NIL offering top-notch, money top-notch, resources top-notch, athletic facilities top-notch. If you can't win at A&M, where can you win? I mean, like, I'm a Tech fan. We would kill to have the types of things A&M has as far as resources and money. I think Jimbo, he'll probably sit on it. He's got 76 million reasons he doesn't have to work another day at his life. Could he be done coaching? Might he retire from coaching and make buku money in the broadcasting booth? He's not going to get like a lower tier Division I team, will probably hire him. Like, he could go to somewhere like Virginia. I'm just thinking of ACC teams, Virginia, Boston College, like those tier of teams. He's not going to go to an Auburn, a Florida State again, a Texas, somewhere like that. Those are probably done unless he proves himself again. He's 45-25 in his time at Texas A&M. Big thing is he's 27-21 in conference play. His most successful season when he went 9-1 during the COVID year in 2020 2021, they signed him to a massive extension, which they're now paying off 10 years, $95.6 million. I mean, just a massive amount of money. I don't blame them for hiring Jimbo. You know, he had won the national championship in 2013. I mean, how many programs would like the opportunity to be able to hire a coach with a natty ring? Most can't do it. I do fault them for signing him to that extension. I don't think Jimbo was going to go anywhere. And if he did, let someone else overpay for him. Doesn't work out, though. You know, he has that, like, one of the best recruiting classes of all time. Most of them have since left now, though talent wasn't ever an issue. One of the most entertaining things in sports in a while was his clash with Nick Saban. You know, he goes out there, NIL becomes a thing, and he uses it legally to his full advantage. Nick doesn't like this, and I don't often, I'm not often critical of like Bama and Bama fans, but kind of exposed Nick, in my opinion. He'd worked for Nick. Obviously, he was his offensive coordinator at LSU. They hate each other. They've hated each other since they worked with one another. All Jimbo did was what Nick Saban had been doing when it weren't legal, right? Nick doesn't like other people using the advantages that he's benefited from at Alabama, and he got a little butthurt about it. You know, Jimbo famously said he thinks he's Jesus down there or something. You know, he said, ask people that have coached for him how he does business down there. And he said, that's all I'll say. Basically comes out and says that he's been cheating for a while, which I'm not saying he did or didn't. A guy that's coached for him before probably knows. And coaches are famous for, like, accusing from the periphery of things, right? Like, someone is contacting my players and tampering, but I'm not going to say who it is. Why? Why can't we just be honest in college football today and be like, you know what? I know you're cheating. You're cheating. I know why, because then they'll sue them, but whatever. So, that being said, Jimbo's out at Texas A&M. This is a premier job. This is a job that's going to have everything a coach could possibly ever want to be successful. So let's go through my top 5 choices. And maybe I'm an idiot. This is just off the top of my head. Number 5 at Kansas, Lance Leopold. The dude's been successful everywhere he's been. He was a hot name in the last cycle. I think he got upset last week. But the question with a hire like Lance is not necessarily 100% what has he been able to do where he is. It's based on what he's done at Kansas. What could he do with the resources Texas A&M has? I think he could be pretty good. I think his career record going back to like sub D1 is like 140-12 or something. Dude knows how to coach football. Number 4, Kalen DeBoer at Washington. I could be butchering that name. I don't watch a lot of Pac-12 football. I think the guy is in his first or second year at Washington, but he's got Washington in the college football playoff hunt. They control their destiny probably to get in the college football playoffs, get the big win over Oregon. I think he'd be a good pick. If you can do that at Washington, you can think of what he could do with what Texas A&M has. Texas A&M definitely has the wallet to go pick any coach they want that's willing to take a bag. They could definitely get Kalen DeBoer if they wanted him. Probably pretty good choice. I definitely think all the people on this list should, at a minimum, be interviewed. Number 3, Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning has been successful at Oregon. I get he has some questionable head coach. Like, he likes to go for it on fourth a lot and kind of not play kind of the coaching scorecard to a T. Guy's a defensive genius. Coached one of the best defenses of all time at a school just north of here. I think he could be a good hire for Texas A&M, and I think Texas A&M could entice him away from Oregon. They definitely have more than Oregon does. In fact, of all the coaches that I'm going through, Texas A&M has more money and more resources than the coaches where they currently are. So Dan Lanning at number 3. Number 2, and people might say he's a bit too high on my list, Mike Elko. Guy from Duke. Isn't that his first name? A better YouTuber would have researched this a little better. Let me make sure that Mike Elko. Why am I doubting myself? I've never been wrong before, except just then when I thought I was wrong. Mike Elko, first and foremost, what he's done at Duke hasn't been done at Duke since Steve Spurrier, way back in the day, what he was able to do at Duke before he went to Florida. Fantastic coach. Took Duke to 9 wins last year. Probably would be poised to do that this year if his quarterback didn't get hurt. If you can win 9-10 games at Duke with the limited resources they have, I think he could be monstrous at Texas A&M, which, by the way, is who Duke hired him away from. That's right. He was the defensive coordinator at A&M before, so he's already familiar with the program. He has a track record of winning at Duke now. That's why he's number 2 on my list. He's higher than the others just because he's been at A&M before, and he's been at A&M recently, which means he knows what's going on that's hurting them, what isn't going on right, and he knows most likely how to fix it, right? Number 1, and this would be odd that they would do this twice in a row, Mike Norvell at Florida State. Florida State is a destination school. They've done it once before. Obviously, that's where they hired Jimbo from. And they're going to have to be patient. Look, a lot of Florida State fans were not happy with Norvell early on. He improved every year to get them in the college football playoff hunt and an undefeated season thus far. So he's a guy that has shown that he can develop things, get them going in the right direction. College football fans are nuts, by the way. There are people, I'm a Tech fan that want to fire Brent Key after the Clemson loss. Insanity. Good thing they don't make decisions on hiring and firing, but Mike Norvell is number 1 on my list because he's from Irving, Texas. I think you could offer him enough money. Now, to get Mike Norvell, you'd have to give him the richest contract in history. Could we see the first $13, $14, $15 million a year contract? Be interesting. You'd also have to pay his buyout at Florida State, though. And that's the same with all of these coaches. It would take a lot of money to get him. You should definitely interview him. If you think he's the guy, make him the richest coach in college football history and bring him to A&M. So tell me what you guys think. Those are my 5 choices, kind of my recap of Jimbo's career. I think he's done as far as ever being at the top of college football again. I don't see him recovering from this. Let me know what you think. You guys have a good one.